All right, we want to get you back to Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb. As we're always like hour by hour getting a clearer picture, it's almost like we started here and we're honing in on what to expect. And unfortunately, Chris, instead of getting like more optimistic, I think it's really solidifying the warnings you all have been sharing for day after day about. Is it fair to call it a worst case scenario when we're talking about the amount of ice you're forecasting?
You know, as we've been saying, we haven't had an ice storm warning or an event like this since 2014, and that wasn't Snowmageddon. Remember, we had Snowmageddon where everybody got stuck on the roads with snow and ice, and then a week later we had an ice storm, and that's the one that we're talking about the last time in 2014 that we had an ice storm warning here. And it is a worst case scenario. There are, excuse me, are some things we're looking at on Sunday afternoon where our temperatures may come above freezing for a while with some rain coming down. That could help work away at what ice that we experienced there beginning Saturday night and Sunday. So the main time frame that we're talking about here is going to be late Saturday into early Sunday when we're going to see the main impacts of the ice and where that is going to be getting thicker and thicker. And then the big question is on Sunday afternoon, will we get above freezing, and will it be long enough above freezing to help get rid of some of the ice that falls to help us out? Because Monday morning, whatever is left is going to be frozen again, and that's going to be around for a while. So here's the ice storm warning for all of North Georgia, Northwest Georgia, over toward Athens and extending down into Metro Atlanta, along I-20 here, and even south of I-20 in parts of South Fulton County, of course Douglas County there on the west side there along I-20, also into Clayton County and Henry County. And then of course we have Rockdale County, Newton County, over into areas near Social Circle, also over just north of Putnam County, getting over toward Greene County, right there along I-20. That line northward is where we have this ice storm warning, where we're going to have ice accumulations. Some of those will be significant, and dangerous travel, also power outages, and some of those are going to be more widespread, especially northeast. This is where we're going to have major icing impacts there in northeast Georgia. Coming as far south as parts of Gwinnett County, also over into Jackson County, Barrow County, over toward Clark County there near Athens, Forsyth County, North Fulton could get in on some of the major icing there too, as well as Dawson County, Lumpkin, White County, going up toward Rabun County, Union and Towns counties as well. Moderate around Metro Atlanta, and then minor to the south. So I'm going to break down each one of these areas to help you understand the differences in the impacts that we're going to be dealing with. Let's start first here in northeast Georgia. The major category, ice totals over a half an inch, maybe 3/4 in some spots, maybe as high as an inch. Could you imagine an inch of ice on a tree limb? That was really going to weigh it down and make trees come down, tree limbs come down, power lines come down. It is going to be dangerous or impossible to travel in these areas, and we'll see some widespread power outages that may last for days because it would be hard for the infrastructure to get in there and get that power back quickly. So I want you to prepare for that. In Metro Atlanta, ice totals here in this moderate area here, out I-20 east through Atlanta and into northwest Georgia. Ice totals 1/4 inch to a half inch. Difficult travel. I would advise you just don't try to travel on Saturday night and Sunday here in the metro area. And we'll also have some scattered power outages, maybe not as widespread as up in North Georgia, but still some of those power outages here too. And then on the south side, that's where we're going to have more of the minor impacts. Glazing to maybe 1/4 inch of ice, slick travel, isolated power outages will be in those areas too. And the ice potential is showing us here where we're going to see in those areas that I was just highlighting, both the GFS, the American model, and the European model showing the highest impacts north and east up that I-85 corridor, 985 corridor, and also again up to the north and east of us. Not as much of those impacts even west and south of our area, and this is all because this area that we're seeing in northeast Georgia, that's where the wedge is going to be strongest there, that shallow layer of cold air, and it's really going to be hard for that to scour out and warm up during the day on Sunday. But there are some things we're looking at for Sunday, especially for Metro Atlanta, of the possibility of us warming up a little bit to help get away some of that ice. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later.